Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and doing a quick little review here for the boxed in episode 5 of The Gifted. This was probably the best episode yet. Not necessarily because of the brilliant acting in it. Once in a while, just the agent, the lead agent from Sentinel Services, his wife. They introduced her and the daughter. Daughter didn't have to do anything except be cute. Good job. The wife had to actually talk, and that phone conversation with the was like, "Are you coming home? Coming home." The only good part about that conversation was it gave you an idea that they're still or it told you that they're still together, and I liked that they hung on the phone a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of just, okay, I'll talk to you later, and then hung up. They actually hung there for a little while. Okay, I love you, bye. Like that. You know, like the foreshadowing that something was going to happen. I dug that. That was actually good. Aside from that, the actual words they're using, her, oh my God, can we never have to see her again, please? I'm glad that you got a paycheck today, but now use it and go back to acting school. I don't care how rude that sounds. No, horrible, horrible actress.
No, a daughter? You want to go see a daughter?
That last scene at the very end of this was so painful to get through. It hurt. In my soul, it hurt to get through that. I was like, oh God, please let there be a reason for me to be watching this. Please let it be giving us something. Maybe there's like a something that happens afterwards. And just, nope, it just ended with that. And I'm like, I didn't have to watch that. I didn't have to put myself through that torture. That was horrible. Hey, what's going on, Lewis? Geek Fortress is in the house. Yeah, it was terrible. Absolutely horrific, and I wouldn't wish that upon any of you. So, everything else, though, about this was actually really good. Dark Polaris is just wow. Absolutely wow. I could, if you were tortured, if you were captured, if you were hurt, if you were put in a place where people would hurt you, when they knew that you were pregnant and still put you in the room with people who wanted to hurt you, a room where someone kicked you in the belly and said, let's see about that muty baby and stuff like that. If they did stuff like that to you, besides putting a collar on you and all sorts of crazy things, really? I think any one of us would be thinking about getting revenge in this form of torture or anything. Just, I don't even need any information. I'd be like I'd be like Darth Vader. I'd take you in that room. You'd come out, talk back to Princess Leia. He didn't even ask any questions. You damn right. You don't have anything I want to know. I just want to see you cry. Like that. That would be me, man. I'd be like, dude, how dare you? So, yeah, it was pretty rough. So I'm totally down with Dark Polaris like that. Just, man, and she still held back so well. Easily the best character, in my opinion, easily the best character on that. Every single thing you're looking for in a character, in an actor, in whatever, she's got it. Friggin' A, she's awesome, man. I really, honestly, I don't want her to leave this. I absolutely don't. But I hope that this does open the doors for her to go on to something else also. You know, even if it's not in the superheroes, I guess. But, real talk, she is amazing. Absolutely amazing. You got to see Laura Strucker shine a little bit. She's always kind of been a little bit of support. Like, okay, Andy, you've got the devastating power. I'm going to contain that devastating power so that, you can take out this wheel, you know what I'm saying, on a truck and things like that. All of that is good. You know what I really like? I like that she got to be the suture. She got to be that clamp that the nurse was looking for, that her mom was looking for. And then everybody got to see what she did. Got to see her use her power with precision. Andy couldn't do that. He just learned how to use his powers last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, But she's been practicing with it for approximately 2 years now. So yes, she can absolutely do that. That was awesome. And that would be like a power stunt. If you're playing like a role-playing game, that would be a power stunt. You know what I'm saying? The mom, though. The mom didn't do such a great job. The lines were great. The script was great. The dialogue with her was even really good. Just certain little things that actually bugged me. It's funny, now that I'm reviewing TV shows, I actually look for these things, which I never thought to look for before. When she is sewing up the invisible guy, the guy who could turn invisible, when she's doing the sewing thing, she's not looking at the suture as she's lifting it to see where it's going to go taut. She's actually looking at the needle, and she did that twice. Literally like, what are you looking at the needle for? I just want to reach in the screen. What are you looking at the needle for? Oh my God, nobody looks at the freaking needle. Nobody looks at the needle. Why did she think looking at the needle is a good thing? Now I want you to look at the needle. I'd be like, yo, hey, stop looking at the needle. I was so bothered by that. I'm like, why? Look at the suture. That's how you see if it's going to be taut or not. That's how you can see if you missed or not. Oh, it's those little things. It's just like, dude, it just takes you out of the moment. And then I get the idea of looking at your daughter as she's doing this incredible power stunt before your eyes. At the same time, JC and Lapel, what's up, brother? The idea of just looking at your daughter. It's like your daughter's doing this amazing thing. You've seen her do powers before. You know that she's got superpowers. You know what her superpowers do. You know what her mutant ability is. All right? Why are you looking at her in her face at this point? Like, her direction was off in this. That whole scene, she wasn't there. You know, the mom, she just wasn't there. She's sitting there looking at her daughter. What are you doing? You know, like, whatever. Like, what? Why are you looking at her? Listen, if you want to look at her, okay, fine. But how about look at the daughter, look at the action. Look at the daughter, look at the action. You know, like how are you doing this? How are you doing this? You know, just something like that. Something. But, like, no. What? Looking at all the wrong things. Oh, my God. So, anyway, I should have been, like, pulling out a comic book in the meantime. But, like, yep, that's right. I still got 2 comic books I got to edit and put up today. Okay. Aside from that, the only bad part I can say is I like that they gave the backstory, finally, for the leader of Sentinel Services. Can't remember his name. I said his name. Was his name John? Whatever. But it was it a little late? I don't know that it was necessarily a little bit late, but what it was that when they showed it again later on, they showed that quick little scene of his daughter on the merry-go-round. I didn't think that was necessary. I'm like, yeah, too soon to flash back to that. Like, we already know. You don't have to flash back to that for us to know exactly what he's seeing right now. You don't have to do that. The big news is coming up in a moment, but I want to first talk about 7:15. 7:15. That is not a time on a clock. That's a date. Much like 9/11. Yep, sorry guys, it happens. You in order to really have a good, compelling story that will suck you in, you've got to talk about actual real events. So the mutants here are clearly the Muslims. And what did they say? They said the exact same thing that we always hear back. The actions of a few do not dictate the mindset of everybody. That was a few, crazy people who went and did stuff like that, who went and did these terroristic acts, who used their powers in a way that they weren't supposed to use them in, you know what I'm saying? Who used their powers irresponsibly. That, or maybe they just actually used them maliciously. They were actually trying to hurt people, to make a statement or whatever. Whatever it is, like, this is the social commentary that moves our world, that drives our world. You know what I'm saying? Let's be realistic. The mutants at no point turned around and said, you have been attacking us and things like that, and you used deadly force against us. She said that in this. Polaris said that. You used deadly force against us. There was no need. That started off as a peaceful protest. You guys instigated that. Therefore, all of you humans are evil. No, that was the cops. Okay, well, then all of you cops are evil. No, that was a couple of people who escalated who shouldn't have escalated. Even though police are... The main purpose of police should be to de-escalate, not to shoot people. Should be to de-escalate. I'm telling you right now, when I was in the military, we had all the power. We have bigger guns than the cops will probably ever have, even when we loan them some guns. We're not going to give them all our stuff. We have the most power. And the people who were, lording over, essentially, are people who, at the best, have, like, hunting rifles. You know what I'm saying? So we could, at any time, just enact martial law and whatever, but that's not what you do. That's not how you actually control a situation. That's escalating a situation. Just the idea that we're walking around in full armor with guns, with rifles, that's escalation to begin with. So we have to do everything we can to de-escalate to say we're only here to protect, we're only here to try and, get out insurgents, we're only here to make things safer for us and for you. And we have to do that through a steep language barrier because we don't get to say, speak English or die, because we're in their lands. So maybe we should learn their language. It's one of those kind of things where, why is it that that's not the case here? And it's really shown. It's really shown big time in shows like this. Like, this is a commentary. Ignore it or not. Ignore it at your own peril. I love that they do this. The big reveal here that they kind of hinted to last time, and I didn't notice. I went right past me. The tattoo on Pulse's arm, the Hound. They've actually started the Hound services. So think about X-Men: Days of Future Past. If you're not overly familiar with the comic books in and of themselves, they actually just had the Days of Future Past was that in the future they got these Sentinels who are coming back, and they're able to adapt to people, and they're taking out mutants left and right. Even Wolverine's not safe. They've got a form of disintegration that will disintegrate all the flesh off your bones, and you can't heal from that. So yeah. And there's lots of different stories why that could have happened, but regardless, that was the original intent. Oh, all the flesh went off his bones. He's dead. So what they did in the comic books, which I didn't see them do in the movie, was they have these mutants that they captured and brainwashed heavily and called them Hounds. Any kind of mutant with the ability to track people. They were especially helpful. Rachel Summers, who's currently called Rachel Gray. She took her mom's last name now. Jean Grey and Scott Summers. So that's Phoenix, or Marvel Girl, whatever you want to call her, Phoenix, and Cyclops. They had a daughter. They had several kids. They had a bunch of kids. They got 3 kids. But one of them became Prestige. She is an extremely powerful telepath. She doesn't have laser beams from her eyes. There's no concussive blasts coming from her eyes. She took her mom's powers. All of the mutants, all of them took their mom's powers. Cyclops just has a pew-pew. That's it. So it's other things that make Cyclops awesome. So, realistically, like, when you think about what the Hounds are, yes, they're extremely powerful. Yes, they can benefit the Sentinel services. Yes, they are doing mind control. Holy crap, who's the real bad guys here? No question at this point. Sentinel services, no matter what they tell themselves so they can go to sleep at night, including my daughter's still alive, is you are the bad guys. You are brainwashing people. And just like Polaris is... They gave her all the best lines. They gave her everything, and I think it's because she delivers so well. She says, "Oh, we're people now." I didn't really like so much that Blink is really out of control. I think that is a part of her character, but rein it in a little bit. When she turned around to Sunspot and said, "Yeah, manipulating time and space is a little bit harder to do than shooting solar beams, heat beams." Well, he is supposed to be not Robert DaCosta, not Sunspot, so he's actually absorbing energy from the sun, but then he's redirecting it. He gets really weak after he uses powers for a while, so who are you to complain? Literally, like, it's one of those things that I say to people all the time. Dude, you could have, been a survivor of freaking cancer, going through chemo, radiation, and all sorts of crazy things, but there could be a person over here who just gets migraines, and you think, I went through cancer, it's worse than anything you could do. How do you know? Like, this is one of the reasons why I love John Proudstar so much. I'm part native, and we actually say, don't judge a man until you've walked a mile in his moccasins, You don't know what this person is capable of going through. You know what I'm saying? Literally, saying something like that is no different than saying to a person who was born a cripple, who was born handicapped, who can't walk, and saying, I was able to climb a tree when I was a kid, you can't climb a tree as an adult? You honestly tell me what's the difference. And that's just one of the wow, Blink is a little bit out of control there. You don't sit there and say, oh, my power is more taxing than yours. No, it's not. You're just more of a punk. And that's one of the reasons why Mind Messy Girl with the purple smoke, that's one of the reasons why she did what she did. She's not very good at defending herself. She's clearly not meant to be a main character. If she is supposed to be shoehorned into that, they're going to have to give her more stuff and give us a reason to really remember her name. I have a feeling she's just going to wind up dying at one point. But going back to the Sentinel Services, the Hound program, forgot to plug in my laptop again. What do you call it? The person right now who is most likely, in my opinion, to be captured for that service, to be a new Hound, would be John Prounstar, would be Thunderbird. Think about it. Just think about that. He has his tracking ability as a mutant. Besides him being really strong and being able to go toe-to-toe with just about anybody, who could go toe-to-toe with him, you know? He gets in close, you're toast, you know? But he's got that tracking ability. So we know from the comic books, his 3-issue run in the comic books, that he dies a very tragic death, and it shakes up the X-Men, and it messes up everything. They didn't do it with Pulse, because who the heck is Pulse? Who are you, Pulse? You know, saying you introduced us to him in the very beginning last episode, and then just, you know, he was John's best friend. No, he wasn't, because I didn't know him before this, so I've got no emotional attachment to him. But we're getting an emotional attachment to John, because John is the leader. He is the tactician. He is the former military guy. I love that he needed everybody to be quiet, and he did this. That's what we do. When you're a forward observer in the military, when you're taking point, and you do this, it means shut up now. Now, if you're in the middle of taking a step, you better pull all your balance into play. You don't put that other foot down on the ground. You keep it in the air, because that means quiet immediately. The next noise that is made is going to give away our cover, and I need to know what's going on up here. So him doing that and them shutting up, he is such an integral part of this team. He is the team. I like that the guy who turns himself, the other guy who turns, there's a lot of invisibility guys here. The guy who not only turns himself invisible, but turns cars and other things invisible, that dude. The guy who looks like Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead. That guy. I love that he did go on the side a little bit, which actually made it better. There were less witnesses. There was one cop who saw what he was doing. But there wasn't all those people on the street where it's like, okay, now we got to change the license plate, change the paint color, just ditch the whole car. You know what I'm saying? So it actually worked better, him doing what he did. You know, I just had to make sure who you were working for. The idea is that he still obeyed. He still listened. And that's the key element. That's one of the differences between a soldier and a warrior. Hey, both could be amazing in hand-to-hand or in firing or in whatever you're going to do. But a soldier knows how and when to listen to orders, how and when to follow orders. And that is a key element to what wins wars, to wins battles, to wins anything in life, is knowing when to defer to somebody better, somebody of higher authority. Just do it, because if everybody's on the same page. And that was great. That was because if he didn't obey, there is no redemption for this guy, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So that was awesome that he did that. And the way he did it was good enough for me. Boom. Ow! What the hell did I just hit? Well, you're going to a guy who you see can turn things invisible. And that poor guy, Andy and Lauren's dad, needs a new pin in his knee. I love seeing him like limping like that. It's very realistic. He might be the best actor on the TV show. He might be, not just because of that, but just because of everything that he does. There's a reason why he's the lead, not his kids necessarily. It's their story, but he's the lead. And yeah, definitely fantastic. This was, like I said in the beginning, this was the best episode so far. I know there's only 5, but that was a really high bar to set because the show was just amazing. And the first episode was directed directly by Bryan Singer. So that says a lot. My opinion, that says a lot. This was a really well-directed episode. Almost everything about this episode was perfect. Replace Sentinel Services guy's wife, or just we don't need to see her again, because no. You think I died? Out. You're out. You get the boot. Here comes the cane to just, off stage and just pull you off. But I'm good. This was a really good episode, guys. Thanks for showing up. Talk to you later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.